Welcome, Fern. Thanks for participating in Female Football Week for us. How did you get involved in the game?
It's funny really, I started when I was probably a bit older than most people start playing football. I always watched my brothers play on the weekends, but I always did Scottish dancing from when I was about 5, and my mum never really wanted me to play football because all the boys in the family played football. And then she eventually gave in to me when I was about, I was in grade 5 I think, so that'd make me 11 or so I started playing, and then never stopped since then.
Which Brisbane clubs have you been playing for in the past?
So I started playing initially in the Baptist Church League, just really socially, I guess because my mum was reluctant to let me play. I got plonked in there, trained once a week, and it was just 5 minutes from home, so started playing there. From there, so I played in a mixed team with boys until I was about 14. Then I had to go to women's, obviously, so I just went down to the local club, which was Pine Rivers for me. So I played there for a couple of years. From there, I went to Albany Creek, and I played under 16s and my first year in women's at Albany Creek. I had a year off then to focus on dancing, and I went to the Worlds for that, so I couldn't play that year. Came back, and most of the girls I played with were at Pine, so that's where I ended up, and I guess I've been there ever since. So.
What do you enjoy most about playing the game?
I guess the social aspect really, which is funny. The friends that you make along the way. I've got friends that I've made from back when I started playing when I was 11, and I'm still friends with them now. So those sort of friendships that you form in football are, different to everyday work, sort of life friendships. So that's probably something I enjoy. On the pitch, I like playing up front, scoring goals, I guess. What kind of a striker doesn't like doing that? So.
Definitely. What's your ambition as a player?
I guess now my ambition as a player is probably to just play every match really well, play well for my team, and to be considered a valuable sort of member of the team. Going forward, I think I'll stay in the BPL now. When I was younger, I sort of didn't have the W League to aim for as a player because that wasn't around. It only came in 2008 or something, so sort of didn't have that, and I'm getting older now, so.
Who's a role model for you in the game?
Role model, probably say, if I had to pick someone well known, I'd probably say Steven Gerrard. When I was younger, I was a follower of Liverpool, an avid follower, so I used to play midfield, so I always liked how he could sort of read the play so well. He captained Liverpool for years. He's still a really, really good player, so his vision on the park was something I really admire and something I always wanted to be able to do. So,
if you don't mind me saying, you're quite petite. How do you use that to your advantage?
I guess I get that a lot, but I guess it's sort of an advantage in itself because people look at me, particularly defenders, as that's who I'm usually up against, and they think I'm going to be easy to push off the ball and push around, and they realise that I'm not usually easy to push off the ball. So I guess it's good in that sense, and with petiteness, as you put it, comes pace. So I'm quick, so if I can't go through them, I'll try and go around, I guess. So.
How did you get to become a striker? As you say, you used to play midfield, but so what developed you into a striker?
Yeah, so I always played midfield from when I was 11 till all through playing. It was when I came back after the year off, I went to Pine, and I'd never been coached by Ben before, and I think he'd seen me maybe at Albany Creek when he coached at Albany Creek, but we'd never really worked together, so he sort of just plonked me up front, and I didn't say anything because you do what you're told in the team. So I started playing there, and I never moved back to midfield. So started sort of getting a feel for scoring goals, and I don't think I'd want to play midfield anymore. So yeah.
Do you have any memorable or any embarrassing moments from the game?
I don't think I have any embarrassing moments apart from maybe a one-on-one with the keeper and kicking it straight at them, which. At the start of my striking career happened a fair bit because I always used to be the person who just sort of put the ball through and let the strikers do the rest. So when I came up 1-on-1 against the keeper, I sort of looked at them and almost passed it straight to them because that's what I was used to doing, I guess. So That's probably embarrassing, I guess, more so because of the slack I get from Ben if I ever do that. But memorable moments in terms of team moments, I think last year, beating Peninsula Power in the finals series was a really good moment for us. Really sort of cemented us as a team, I guess, and sort of gave us the sort of hunger to go further next year. So.
You awarded the Football Brisbane women's gold medal last year. How did you feel? What was your reaction to that?
Yeah, that was surprising. It wasn't something I was expecting at all, but it felt really good, but not really just from a personal perspective, but sort of from the team's perspective. Because, you're only as good as the team that you've got around you, and the opportunities that the team gave me to play well, I wouldn't have been able to even, be considered for an award like that had I not had the team that we had, and Ben's coaching and everyone at Pine. So I think even though it's in a sense a personal sort of achievement, but I sort of really enjoyed receiving it more so for the team and that sort of recognition for the Pine Hills Club as well. So seeing it sort of from that perspective, this is really good. So, at the end of the day, I just put the ball in the back of the net, but there's a lot of more hard work that comes from, right from the keeper, Paigey, all the way up through to the front. So,
how would you rate the women's game in Australia today?
I think it's only getting stronger. Like I said, when I was starting, we didn't have the W League, so young players didn't really have something, like a sort of. We always had our aspirations, but there was never that, like what the men had, the A League, EPL and things like that. It wasn't well established, but now, you've got the NPL that young players can aspire to, and they've got young NPL teams. So I think it's only getting stronger, and you can see that in the way that the Matildas play when they play in, world events. They always, finish well, finish stronger than the men's Australian team. So I think we're only getting better. So.
What would you change in the game if you had the chance?
That's a tough one. I think there's something like 60 odd new rules been brought in this year, which I'm not even aware of all of them. But one thing I'd like to see brought in from a striker's perspective is maybe some sort of video ref, behind the goal mouth, some little cameras in the goal mouth that can see if the ball crosses the line. If it's in doubt, can we cross to something like that, like they do in the NRL? I think that'd be, kind of interesting. Bring the spectators into the game a bit more, but that's kind of a trivial suggestion. But
what do you think the biggest hurdles are for women in the game?
I think in terms of hurdles, they've been eliminated a lot in the past, recently. There's always going to be that gender sort of hurdle, if you'd call it that, anymore, because it's getting pretty evened out now. But there's always going to be more spectators at men's A League than women's at the moment, until they jump that hurdle and are seen sort of that they can play the game just as well, which we can. But that's probably, I guess, the only hurdle now. We've got all the opportunities and everything, so it's looking pretty good.
Any advice to any young female players starting out playing football?
Advice: train hard. Listen to your coach when they put you wherever on the park, because I would have never chosen to be a striker, and look at me now, I'd never look back. So listen to your coaches, they usually know best. So yeah.